Recommendation Day.
Win or go home.
Georgia Tech.
South Carolina.
Rematch.
8th strikeout of the afternoon for Kyle Baker. What a performance. Home run. Wes Reinders in the first shutout in Omaha since 1995.
Stanford. Notre Dame.
Last chance to advance.
And the pitch is coming. Swung on. There's a drive to left center field. Hello. Goodbye. Stanford knocking off the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
When it all comes down to the final round, I'll be right here on this hill. Yeah, me and the boys gonna make some noise and give this crowd a thrill. So raise that flag, sing that song, and throw me out a brand new ball. Yeah, there's nowhere I'd rather be than back home in Omaha. Back home in Omaha.
Back in Omaha for Day 5 of the 2002 College World Series from Rosenblatt Stadium. Another elimination contest in a rematch of Game 1. The South Carolina Gamecocks will meet the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And as we said, loser goes home again. Clemson resting until tomorrow when they take on the winner of today's game, with Nebraska having been eliminated by South Carolina on Sunday. In bracket 2, tonight, 7 Eastern, ESPN2 has a rematch of Game 3. Stanford and Notre Dame. Texas now waiting until Thursday to face the winner. Rice eliminated by Notre Dame's late inning heroics yesterday afternoon. And on that note, welcome back to Omaha. Dave Barnett, Buck Showalter, and as Notre Dame and Rice reminded us yesterday, as if we needed it, there is nothing like watching teams playing with their national championship hopes on the line, knowing that if they lose, it's all over.
Well, believe me, the thoughts this morning, you wake up, is this the last time you're going to take batting practice? This the last time I'm going to take infields? The last time I'm going to have my friends pick for me for a while? But it's a tough mindset for a young man, but everybody's going to face it at some point during the course of this series. We're in Game 9, hard to imagine.
This is a rematch, as we said, and South Carolina hoping that it's not a repeat of Game 1. 11-0 shutout win behind Kyle Baker for Georgia Tech. But against Nebraska Sunday, they got the top of their order going, Drew Meyer and Justin Harris.
Well, that's bad news for Georgia Tech. These two young men, especially with Aaron Peters sitting right behind them, could really make for some troubled day for any pitcher. I think we're going to see some runs scored today, Dave, and that's not unusual for the College World Series.
Georgia Tech knows that if not for one inning, the second inning of their second game against Clemson, they're in the driver's seat in this bracket after their shutout win. They gave up 8 runs in inning 2 against Clemson. Otherwise, they've been near perfect.
Well, you got to keep in mind now, all Georgia Tech feels like they got to do mentally is get through this game here. They're going to get one of their top pitchers back, rested and ready. Brian Burke's going today. He's a guy they think a lot of. Both these guys are not strikeout pitchers, but at the same time, they think they're going to throw the ball over the plate, not walk a lot of people, and keep them in this baseball game.
Burks for Tech. Reliever Aaron Rall gets a rare start today for Carolina. And as Notre Dame and Rice showed us yesterday what this day is all about, you can be minutes from elimination, but never lose hope. Crowder's 1-2 is hit deep to right. Austin Davis back. It's gone. Notre Dame wins it on a Stavisky home run.
Man, I promise I can do it all. It feels so good to breathe the air back home in Omaha.
ESPN's presentation of the NCAA College World Series is brought to you by your neighborhood 7-Eleven store. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. By 1010-220. Dial it, and all calls up to 20 minutes are 99 cents.
Welcome again to Omaha. Another good crowd at Rosenblatt Stadium, where we have had record crowds all week. Upwards of 25,000 many of the sessions. And an overcast, breezy day again with the wind blowing, as it normally does, out to left. Right now, let's welcome the third member of our crew again, Dave Ryan.
All right, Dave, thanks a lot. As we told you earlier in our College World Series coverage, the Georgia Tech coaches closely track a stat they call freebies. It's made up of 4 key categories: walks, hit batsmen, errors, and stolen bases. By the end of this game with South Carolina, they would like to be a +5 or better. If you add up all the numbers, the positive, of course, going for Georgia Tech. Head-to-head with South Carolina the first time, they were a +4. But sometimes, guys, being a plus isn't always a plus at the end of the game. Because of that 8-run second inning you talked about, Dave, against Clemson, they had some big troubles in the fundamentals of that inning. Overall, they were a +6 against the Tigers, but lost. The first time they've been a plus all year in the freebie stat and lost a game, Dave.
Doesn't happen that way very often. But Georgia Tech hoping that the real Yellow Jacket team was the one that we saw in the first game of this series on Friday. Ray Tanner hopes just the opposite. 6th-year head coach of Carolina, second winningest in the history of their program, says that looked more like the Gamecocks I know against Nebraska. Double-figure hits, double-figure runs. That's what we expect out of our lineup. And here is the Carolina lineup. He'll run out there today.
Drew Meyer, Charleston, South Carolina.
Justin Harris, Longwood, Florida. My baseball superstition is I never wear the same pants 2 consecutive games.
Jerome Peters, I'm from Sherman Oaks, California. I like most ball players. I don't believe in superstitions.
Steve Thomas, Tampa, Florida, home of Gary Sheffield, Luis Gonzalez, and Fred McGriff. Brian Busher, Jacksonville, Florida.
Garris Gons, Orange Park, Florida. I played for the FCCJ Stars, greatest junior college in the country.
Trey Dyson, Columbia, South Carolina. Landon Powell, Apex, North Carolina, home of Olympic gold medalist Marion Jones.
Kevin Malillo, Orlando, Florida, home of Disney World.
Powerful group. They've hit 116 home runs, almost twice as many as Georgia Tech, which has Brian Burks, sophomore right-hander, making his 14th start, 25th appearance.
Well, the thing they like about Brian, he's very composed. He's handled pressure well. He's pitched a number of big games for Georgia Tech over the last 2 years, but I don't think any more than the one he's going to try to pitch today. I think they're just trying to somehow get through this game and set up Kyle Baker to get him to very close to playing for a national championship. And they feel like if they can win this game and get to Baker, they got a good shot.
Burks will have this Georgia Tech defense behind him.
I think Eric Peterson's a key guy. I love the way, the athleticism, the range that he has. He allows the center field and right fielder to play a little deeper because of his range going back. Turns the double play, change the direction with the baseball on the double play as good as anybody in this series. So keep the ball in the ballpark, keep it on the ground. Tech's got a good chance today.
So we're ready to go, and Drew Meyer will get us started. First round pick of the Rangers, hitting .364. Couldn't get anything going at all against Baker in an 0-for-4 debut, but against Nebraska it was a different story.
You know, and even though Drew Meyer hit well against left-handed pitching this year, keep in mind that this might be his first or second at bat this whole series against a right-handed pitcher.
1-2. He hits lefties well, but no doubt is relishing the chance to see some right-handers out there, at least early today.
What I loved about him too, you know, he didn't sit there and wallow around in self-pity. Dropped a couple of bunts down, got on base, continued to try to push the envelope. This young man answered a lot of challenges this year. Big part of the South Carolina ball club, and very shortly a big part of the Texas Rangers.
Meyer 0 for his first 5 until he got himself started by laying down a bunt single. Added a double and a walk later. And Burks starts with a strikeout of the Carolina leadoff hitter.
We got a little change up, down away, 79 miles an hour, pull the string. Once again, a ball out of the strike zone. Turned over, change up, got ahead in the count, expanded the strike zone.
Justin Harris, the junior center fielder, chops at the first pitch, and it is fair. Down the line and left, Justin Harris will have himself a 1-out double as Matt Merton gets it back in from the bullpen.
Oh, hit them where they ain't. This ball, keep in mind now, it's where this ball goes over the bag, not where it hits past the bag when it's on the ground. You're going to see a real good call by the umpire. It might have done both. That ball hit barely foul, I believe, but it crossed the bag fair. Let's see. Yeah, good call.
Third base umpire John Magnuson with the definitive fair ruling. Harris is down at second for Yaron Peters, the hero for Carolina, keeping them alive with the 2-run 9th inning home run to eliminate Nebraska.
One thing you would do, first time a pitcher that you haven't seen goes into the stretch, you see both coaches in the coaching boxes with stopwatches in their back pocket, coaches in the dugout. They're timing him to the plate. Great time to steal third base, 1 out.
Yeah, even the coaches spending a lot of time snacking here.
I tell you what, if you wait until game time to do your work, you know, they network so much information in college baseball and in all walks of baseball. Like I said, if you get to this point and you don't know what this young man is to the plate, you haven't probably done your homework.
8 home runs in the NCAA tournament for Peters. 3 balls and no strikes as Burks works very carefully to him.
Well, obviously the second baseman holds the runner on this situation, but he's a lot closer with the shift they have on against Peters. It'd be very tough for him to steal third base with the second baseman that close to him.
Eric Patterson sneaking briefly, deliberately up from behind second base. It's a 4-pitch walk for Peters, first and second with 1 out now. We'll see Steve Thomas, the right fielder. 4th time Peters has been walked in this College World Series. One Gamecock with 29 home runs. Nobody else has more than 16, so you expect him to be pitched to very carefully, and he has been. So here's Thomas out of Tampa, senior, 356 hitter, who had 2 base hits against Nebraska to give him 100 for the year. Their 3rd 100 hit season out of this 2002 campaign, along with Meyer and Peters. Thomas has Harris down at second, Peters down at first after a Meyer strikeout to begin the first. Carolina in its first College World Series appearance in 17 years. Very close the last 2 years, but didn't quite get here.
Well, the question you have to ask yourself in a situation like this with Georgia Tech, if Justin Harris tries to steal third base here, you know, do you attack the trail runner and you're in Peters? And as South Carolina, do you have the trail runner even run on this? A lot of times they'll have a signal from the dugout saying, you know, we're going to attack the trail runner here. We'll give Justin Harris third base. I think we have a better shot at throwing out Yaron Peters. I would be surprised if Peters even takes off if Harris does.
Harris dancing off second. Burks misses 1 and 2. And Patterson continues to dart back and forth from second base to behind the bag.
Well, you got to make sure you're able to get back in good defensive position and be set when that ball enters the strike zone.
Long look from Burks, and the 1-2 popped up. And it'll be Patterson making the call for the second out.
See the infield fly rule being enforced there by our umpiring crew. Less than 2 outs. Should be a pretty good day for pop-ups with the exception of wind. You got a nice cloud cover here. Doesn't look like it's threatening to rain at this point. But you got some depth perception for the infielders. We've had a couple of games here already, Dave, where there's no clouds. Really tough on infielders and outfielders with the pop-ups.
Pop-ups were a nightmare yesterday for both teams in the early game. Here's Brian Busher, the third baseman. Aggressive approach by the Gamecocks. Harris swung at the first pitch, set up the inning with his double. Busher went after the first pitch, and the junior from Jacksonville, Florida, with 14 home runs, 329 hitter, driven in 63, and a chance here to give the Gamecocks their first run against Georgia Tech pitching. The shutout in game 1, the first in series play in 7 years. Baker came out to warm up for the ninth, given a chance, as you see the nice stop by Parker, at the first complete game shutout in 8 years in Omaha. But he just warmed up and then brought out for the standing ovation he deserved. Top foul. And it was Burks who worked the scoreless ninth to finish up for Tech after Baker had been almost untouchable the first 8 innings.
This young man hoping to get another opportunity to keep this Georgia Tech team alive. Some question about whether he would start tomorrow.
There's a chance they may go with him. It would be the first time all year he'd pitch on 4 days rest. College pitchers normally get a week's rest. Burks 1-2 and he gets Busher 2 strikeouts in the first inning. So Harris's double, Peters walk, do no damage to Brian Burks. And Carolina does not score in the middle of the first. Georgia Tech to hit down the bottom of the first. And again today we will give you the view from HatCam. Second base umpire A.J. Lostaglio is outfitted. He'll give us the view of all the close plays down there at second. A unique view, to say the least. Mask cam with Nick Zabelli behind the plate will also be available to us. Kevin Doherty is down at first, and John Magnuson is the umpire at third. And Nick with mask cam as Eric Patterson steps in. First pitch by Aaron Rawl in just his second start of the year. He's been a reliever all season except for the SEC tournament when he beat LSU. 1-1 to Patterson.
Neither one of these coaches talking to him this morning feel like, you know, hey, if this starting pitcher for us doesn't pitch well, we're done. They're certainly willing to run everybody out of there and try to get to tomorrow's game and live to fight another day. Once again, we talked about it yesterday. Freshman pitchers, you like to get them off that first inning, get them through that first inning unscathed, and first time they're in the stretch, you want to make sure that they feel pretty confident.
This is headed toward the bullpen, may stay in play. Giving a look over there is Garris Gantz, and a row back. So Rawl will have to go to Patterson, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Always bring your glove. That young man prepared. Rawl again gets a pop up, and this time almost in his tracks. Gantz has the first out. And the rest of Danny Hall's lineup, we'll see Menocal followed by Slayton, Matt Merton, Jason Perry, Tyler Parker, Matthew Boggs, Wes Reinders, and the DH batting ninth today is Clifton Rimley. Georgia Tech, the last 2 years, set school records at 342 in 2000, 347 last year. Not quite the record pace this year, 329. Menocal a big part of it, 12th round pick of the Phillies, hitting 368. And here in Omaha, 636. Aaron Rawl can get to the low 90s with his fastball. Buck, they're just hoping maybe for 5 or 6 innings from him today. All the coaches who have run freshmen out there say the same thing. They're poised. They won't be overwhelmed by the pressure and by far the biggest crowds most of them have ever seen.
Yeah, and I think that's something that coaches are certainly prepared to answer, because that's what they're going to be asked about a freshman. But like we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Dave, this is a different situation than pitching a rookie pitcher in the big leagues. You know, these young men have certainly been tested.
Chopper in the short hop off Brian Butcher and into short left field. Menocal with a lot of topspin on that one, and Butcher not quite able to make the play.
Well, he gets an in-between hop here. One thing you got to come get this ball on the top of the hop. Once you start retreating a little bit, you saw him take a half step back there, forced himself into taking an in-between hop, got in between, had that ball off to the side. Now if he can square up on that ball may bound short ways in front of him. He's got time to throw to first base.
No ruling yet. Jeremy Slayton, power hitting right fielder, 343 average with 17 home runs. Takes a strike. Freshman on full scholarship, indicating exactly how high they were on him coming out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Well, we know how rare that is, Dave. And the coaches talked about how really it made it tough to put together a competitive club if you just picked out 2 or 3 guys and gave them full scholarships, because it really makes it college education, especially at some of these universities, very, very expensive.
Ripped fair down the right field line, and Menocal will head to third. Slayton with a first base hit for Georgia Tech.
That's what we said. Young pitcher, first time he's in the stretch, you get a breaking ball, something soft out over the plate. Able to keep it fair. Good extension on the swing.
Peters tried to get it on his leap, not quite. As you saw, Menocal aboard on what they ruled an error on Brian Busher. So first and third, 1 out for the cleanup hitter, Matt Merton, who is hitting .600 in Omaha, .348 for the season with 10 home runs. Almost all the Tech players seem to be freshmen or sophomores. Merton sends one toward the gap in right center. It's a long run, but in front of the track, Justin Harris gets there. It is a sac fly to score. Menocal with the first run, and Georgia Tech takes the early lead.
Well, good job of hitting there by Merton. You want to stay inside that baseball. The only thing you're trying to stay away from is rolling over a ground ball to your shortstop. See him stay inside this baseball, get it in the air at the very worst. Deep fly ball. 1 out, runner there at first base is going to play that ball halfway. Stay inside that baseball. Don't let that top hand come through and roll it over to the shortstop for a double play. Nice job, young man.
Unearned run brings home Menocal. 58th run batted into the year for Merton. Now Jason Perry. Breaking ball misses. Of all the Tech batters, nobody is hotter here than Perry, the 6th-round pick of the Blue Jays, the highest draft pick off this roster, who's hitting .714 in this College World Series. .326 for the year.
Well, we got a pretty good generous strike zone going right now. That ball's almost in the other batter's box. But it's been the same for both clubs so far.
Perry had a home run. First 2 games. 1-1, now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Danny Hall playing 15 freshmen, 7 of whom started for him this year. But they've helped him set a Tech record with 52 wins, the most in school history, just 15 losses.
Well, we saw what it meant to the Stanford program last year to come here with so many young players, and they picked up right where they left off. They're back here again with a chance to win a national championship. Should bode well for Georgia Tech's future.
Nick Zabelli and Mass Cam showing us the 2-2 from Aaron Rawl, and right on top of Perry. He managed to duck, and it's a full count.
Well, this ball's right at his head. Ran. Surprised Aaron Peters holding the runner here with a 3-2 count and a left-handed hitter up. Should be playing behind him at first base here.
In the air, right center field. And the wind will blow it right to Justin Harris. But Georgia Tech with an unearned run at the bottom half of the first. Carolina, the top fielding team in the country, hasn't really shown it here in Omaha yet. Whetting our appetite for more afternoon baseball from Omaha. Georgia Tech with an unearned run in the first, leading 1-0. South Carolina's .976 fielding percentage led the country, but they've had their defensive problems. 2 errors very costly to get Georgia Tech started in that first meeting on Friday. And the 1 through 4 hitters led by Reinders gave Baker more than enough. The way he was pitching, 1 would have been enough, but they went ahead and devastated Carolina pitching with 11. Garrett Scotts, Trey Dyson, and Landon Powell to bat here in the Carolina second. Braves draft pick from Orange Park, Florida. Sends one chopping toward the middle and gloved by Menocal. 2 pitches, 1 out in the second.
Used to be major league teams drafted seniors that late just to fill a roster in the minor leagues. In a lot of cases to be competitive in the minor leagues. But nowadays, young men, you see a big jump in their production and their skills from the junior year to the senior year. I think Yarn Peters is a big example of that. Gets more at bats. And, you know, coming out of, used to be the kiss of death. You come out as a senior, you better be ready to go right to AA, AAA, or the big leagues. But that's not the case anymore in professional baseball. There's some good college seniors coming out and having a chance to play in the big leagues.
Trey Dyson, a senior, who, even though he wasn't drafted, will have a promising future. He was the SEC Male Student Athlete of the Year. That gives him a $10,000 post-grad scholarship. He used to work in the stock market industry. Native of Columbia. Sends one deep to right. Sladen is back on the track with a leap up against the wall. Has it.
Well, I tell you, Dave, you and I were talking coming out here today. What a difference in the way the games were played with the dimensions. And really kudos to Omaha here moving these fences back a little bit. I thought this ball was way out of here, didn't you?
Last year it's way out. With the wind we had in the first game, it's way out. He thought it was out. And it ends up a couple of feet short, if that. They also raised the fences up to 8 feet this year. But I think it's made for a much more realistic game, not having the wind blowing out to a 360-foot power out.
I agree. And if you take the wind out of the equation, you probably take 2 or 3 home runs off our total already.
Landon Powell with a roller to Perry at first. He'll do it unassisted at a 1-2-3 second. 7 pitches for Burks to dispose of the Gamecocks, although Dyson threatened to tie it. Well, out of that group, Rice has gone home. Nebraska's gone home. Loser of this game will also depart Omaha. The wind is very helpful if you get it up in the air toward left. And as Dyson found out, you get just the opposite if you try to take it out to right. 9+, it's going to be up, you'd think at some point, gusting up to 20 today. Temperature mid-80s. Georgia Tech in the second, sending the catcher Tyler Parker up, followed by Matthew Boggs, the third baseman, and the center fielder Wes Reinders.
I don't think Tyler Parker agreed. You know, being a catcher in a tough spot, you don't want to get the umpire ticked off at you. You've got a very level strike zone working today here, fellas. You better swing the bat.
Parker 1 for 9 in the first 2 games. That's on the corner, and a ball and 2 strikes from Aaron Rawls, who surrendered an unearned run in the first. Menocal reaching on an error by the third baseman Busher. Sladen singled in the third, and Merton's sac fly brought him home. Parker down on strikes. Let's check in with Dave Ryan.
Dave, today this game we have 2 pitchers on the shorter side. Brian Burks of Georgia Tech, 5'9", 168 pounds. Aaron Rawls only 5'10". Now I asked coaches from both sides before the game about smaller pitchers, if there's any advantage for them with a lower arm slot. They don't think so. Maybe lower on the mound, perhaps a better angle for the hitter. But guys, remember, Pedro Martinez, 5'10", 160 pounds, and Greg Maddux, a couple Cy Youngs, not exactly a tall guy either.
Ron Guidry, what was he, 5'9", 5'10"?
Is there a problem with short guys or something? I'm pretty excited about it. Now, you know, I think if anything, they have a disadvantage because of the arm slot and the angle of the balls coming into home plate. It's a little bit more of a flatter plane. That's the one thing we talked about Baker the other day. His release point, you got a different angle entering the strike zone. That's why you see a lot of guys that size throwing 88 miles an hour, making people swing and miss.
Matthew Boggs with a base hit. Second for the Yellow Jackets, and he's aboard with 1 out for Reinders. Boggs, a solid line drive to left center field. 361 hitter. You know you're strong when your number 8 hole brings a 371 average. 329 as a team. Of their starters today, only 1 Georgia Tech hitter is not at 300, and that's the number 9 hitter on deck, Remley, who's at 282. Speed aboard. Boggs 12 out of 18.
Well, it's not like the National League, obviously, where you're trying to get that 9-hole hitter out of the way. In college baseball, not many spots for a pitcher to rest. Got some guys with some pretty gaudy numbers hitting down in the order.
And they may have taken a lesson from players who didn't go to the glasses yesterday. Reinders has him. Roller, maybe 2. Melillo, Meyer, and in time at Peters.
Pretty.
One of the best executed double plays we've seen. And it turns into a 1-2-3 second inning for Aaron Rawl and Carolina. With Buck Showalter and Dave Ryan. Dave Barnett back at Rosenblatt Stadium, Omaha, Nebraska, where the College World Series has made its home since 1950, and we see 5 million eclipse now all-time attendance in this session. 25,000 plus record crowds. Newly expanded Rosenblatt Stadium, even with Nebraska going home last night, produced another record crowd. Not all the Nebraska fans left. A lot of them threw their support behind Notre Dame yesterday. Joined the Irish fans in applauding the 9th inning heroics. Bottom of the order, Melillo, the second baseman out of Longwood, Florida. Followed by Meyer, those two turning a pretty double play to end the Georgia Tech half of the second. And Melillo at .276 for the year with 3 home runs. In there this year mostly for his defense. Right to Mennekow. And the ball to Perry was a little bit low but catchable, and he can't come up with it, and Melillo is safe at first. Perry was making much tougher plays than that in the warm-ups between innings.
Well, sometimes the toughest play is a routine play. You can get a little hard sinker here. Not real sure where that ball's going to short hop and not catches it. I think close to his wrist. Gets down a little too far on it. Sometimes that in-between ball, you're not sure if it's going to short hop or not. Not making excuses for him. That's a play that he normally would make with ease.
May get out of it here with a double play. Mennekow Patterson upset at second base on the slide by Melillo. And so Meyer safe at first.
Well, if you don't think scouting reports have to do a lot to do with a baseball game, Eric Patterson's playing Meyer to pull there, and that's why he's starting. See how far over he is here? Watch how far he's got to go to get in position. Runner's going to be right on top of him. Never really gets to a spot where he can plant and get anything on this throw. Drew Meyer very tough to double up as it is.
So Melillo retired. On the field his choice. Meyer is safe. The error on Perry, Georgia Tech's first error of this College World Series. Justin Harris doubled in the first on the first pitch he saw from Burks. And a breaking ball low.
And those are the type of things that don't show up in a box score. You know, you've already, the error is going to show up, but you got a ball there that you potentially could turn a double play on. May not show up on the scoreboard this inning, but it makes your pitcher throw X number more pitches than he normally wouldn't have had to. You have to expose somebody out of the bullpen earlier point in the game than you normally wouldn't have to. That's why defense is such a big factor in games.
Down at first base is Meyer, far and away the biggest stolen base threat for Carolina, with 37 of their team total of 76 steals. Tops of the SEC and 74%. Brian Burks beat Georgia in the regional championship game in Atlanta. Strong start, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. And again pitched the 9th inning on Friday against Carolina. So in the NCAA tournament this year, 1-0 with a 112 earned run average and a 167 opponent batting average in 8 innings coming into this one. Giving up just the 1 base hit. Harris is double in the first.
Didn't really count right here. 1-1-1.
Meyer with his lead. rotation for Danny Hall has been almost untouchable. Hitters under 200. ERA under 2 for the staff.
See, that's another sign that coaches put on Coach Hall with Georgia Tech. That's a hold call. In other words, he's going to come up and hold the ball, not ever going to deliver the ball to the plate, try to bring the runner to a dead standstill, take away all his momentum. Also gives you a good look at whether he's running or not.
He is running, and it hits Harris.
That's some of the problems you run into. You ask your pitcher to be quicker to the plate. Release point gets off. His rhythm gets off. Releases that ball away. Almost slips out of his hand trying to be a breaking ball. Hits him in the back of the left knee. That's smart.
That is the 11th hit batsman for Brian Burks this year.
And that's what Dave Ryan was talking about before the game. Look at the extra outs that South Carolina's gotten this inning. Unfortunately for Georgia Tech, they're going to have to get some outs against Jaron Peters and Steve Thomas. They've got the right people up in this situation.
Getting started with an error on first baseman Perry. Meyer beat out a possible double play grounder. Harris now hit. First and second with one out for Peters, who walked on 4 pitches first time up. We'll see how careful Burks is with him here. Big rip for strike one. 29 home runs, a school record by 6. 94 runs batted in, a record by 8.
And I think a real testament to the relationship that Coach Tanner has with his players, that Jaron Peters came back this year, not getting many at bats. I mean, this was a guy that, if they'd have known then what they know now, he's certainly seen a lot more at bats last year. But
27 at bats, but they're just happy to have him because Peters was widely ignored in his home state of California. Volunteered to walk on. Nobody wanted him. Went to Cuesta Community College in San Luis Obispo, California. His only offer, even to walk on Division I other than Carolina, was Chico State. And a former Gamecock tipped Tanner off to him, said, you got to look at this Peters. He did. And despite not seeing much of him on the field last year, boy, has he ever paid off this year. Tanner says, yeah, last year if I had it to do over again, I would have gotten him out there more than I did. Peters has been on a mission all year to show all those California schools who turned him down how wrong they were.
never have understood, Dave, how you can fake to third base, you can fake to second base, but yet you can't fake to first base. Where's the logic in that?
There is no logic in that.
No, why can't you?
I'm trying to figure out why every time they fake to third, then fake to first, everybody in the stands calls for a balk, and it's never a balk.
It's just tradition. I tell you, Drew Myers trying to get the right lead here to go. Justin Harris keeping a close eye on him, wants to make sure that he gets the same break that Drew does. Got a good breaking ball count here to run on.
2 on with 1 out. Down in the dirt. Parker will try for second, and sliding in safely is Harris. Meyer is down at third. So Peters is retired, but both runners move up.
Got a drop down breaking ball down away. Very risky play there at second. That ball almost went into center field. Watch how close this. It's only Eric Patterson's athleticism being able to get up and stop this ball keeps it from going into center field and scoring at least 1 run.
Bruce gets his 3rd strikeout with a wild pitch. Puts both Gamecocks in scoring position now for the cleanup hitter Thomas. Popped to second his first time. Capable of hitting 1 out 11 times this year. He's done it. Second to Peters and runs batted in. A distant second. But then Peters, so often this year, has cleaned everybody off. There's not always that many left for Thomas. That one gets away from Parker, and here comes Meyer standing up. So Burks controlled problems in the 3rd inning. Allow Carolina to tie it.
Well, a run score that shouldn't even be there. He's been having some trouble with him most of the game. Late life, ball very much away. But a ball that, tough play, but could be handled. We've been spoiled by some pretty good catching here this series.
That's called a pass ball. It was a very tough play for Parker. 1-0, 2-0 now. And Thomas ahead in the count now. 3 balls and no strikes. Let's look at it again. Ruled a pass ball on Tyler Parker, who's been kept hopping this inning.
Well, he's setting in. That's what really caught him off guard. He's off the plate a little bit in. The ball ended up off the plate away.
Swinging on 3-0. And into left center field for Reinders. Carolina with an error, a wild pitch, a hit batsman, and a pass ball. Manages to pull even 1-1 in the middle of the third. And our all-access crew, seemingly working 24/7 here in Omaha, has been following around the South Carolina Gamecocks all week. Here's what they've come up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, ESPN fans, welcome to the 2002 SEC Championship Tour Bus, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks.
We have just finished an awesome practice at a great Nebraska high school field, and we are heading to the place where we have wanted to go all year, Rosenblatt Stadium.
That's the statue.
Yeah. Oh my God, incredible. Amazing. We've been waiting our whole lives to get here, and now we are here, and we're gonna take home the national championship, is basically what I think.
Georgia Tech and South Carolina getting ready to take the field for game 1. Georgia Tech behind Baker beats the Gamecocks 11-0. And the first shutout in Omaha since 1995.
We didn't have a good game Friday. Let's come out today and do the things that we're capable of doing. Let's play hard, let's play smart, and let's have a lot of fun. This is what it's all about. This is why you put the uniform on. Let's go out and have a big day. Let's go.
The 2-2. Right center field. Well placed. Gone. Home run. Peters with a 2-run homer in the 9th.
All day I was waiting for something to get extended on. I really didn't get any pitches to hit, and I mean, my eyes just blew up when I saw something coming over the middle of the plate. I mean, if I was going to go, I was going to go hacking away.
But what I got out of it is they managed to have fun even though game 1 was such a disaster for them. And I think that's why they were able to come back and win game 2.
And I think going through the long season, answering a lot of questions, there's a lot of confidence you have, especially coming through a conference like the SEC. You realize sometimes those days just happen, and they very quickly turn it around.
Opportunistic?
Thank you, David. Tell you what, I like South Carolina's chances. They get through this thing. Nice play.
Diving stop Busher. And the throw to get Clifton Remley, the DH.
I just think that if anybody can get through this loser's situation, loser's bracket, maybe South Carolina. But I love the idea of having Baker around the corner. First step quickness they talk about with corner infielders. First step's most of the time is going to make the difference in whether or not you're able to make a play. Watch the first step. Step and a dive.
First pitch to the top of the order. Patterson is lifted to left. Gaunce. 2 outs down to Dave Ryan.
Well, Dave, moments ago we saw that Yaron Peters walk-off home run on our all-access feature. I asked him before the game if he'd ever hit a walk-off homer in his baseball career, and he said never. In Little League, Legion ball, high school, or JC ball, it had never happened before. Last year against Arkansas, he was able to hit a home run, but eventually Arkansas won the game. So a big thrill for Yaron Peters on the big stage at the College World Series.
8 homers since the end of the regular season, so he had a terrific regular year, but has found a whole different gear in the NCAA tournament. Strike 1 to Menocal. Busher has contributed after his error in the first. The nice defensive stop here in the third. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Peterson foul territory. Just 5 pitches for Aaron Roll to move through Tech here in the bottom of the third. 1-1 game.
Stanford!
Notre Dame!
Last chance to advance.
And the pitch is coming. Swung on. There's a drive to left center field. Hello. Goodbye. Stanford knocking off the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
They will meet again, and it'll be tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN2, an elimination game. Notre Dame 5-3 winner in the 9th over Rice yesterday. Stanford an 8-7 loser to Texas last night, and now Texas in control of bracket 2, awaiting the winner of tonight's game. They'll have to beat Texas twice. Winner of this bracket right now, Clemson in the driver's seat, and the winner of this game will have to beat the Tigers twice to make it into Saturday's championship.
Dave, do you think a Clemson-South Carolina matchup would be a big game in the state of South Carolina?
Their players were saying a Clemson-South Carolina baseball game is more intense than a Clemson-South Carolina football game, which I find a little hard to believe, but they're the ones that have been in the middle of it, so they would know. Part of it is because the fans at both those parks are so close, right on top of them. They hear every word that's uttered. It's not quite the case in Death Valley. We're in Columbia. Busher leading off the fourth. Lifts one to short center. It'll drop in front of Wes Reinders. Second base hit for Carolina. Leadoff single.
Well, we talk about the dimensions here. There's so much room in the outfield here. There's a lot of balls. It's not so much the balls that go over your head. It's the balls that seem to land in front. This ball's just placed perfectly. Hits it off the end of the bat. Shortstop, second baseman, especially the shortstop, converges on the ball. Just put in a perfect place. That's something that, I noticed the difference between the college game and the pro game is the ability to close on a baseball. We saw a guy that can really close last night with Steve Stanley.
Did we ever? Going with a pitch, it's fouled off by Garris Gantz, who grounded to short his first time. They managed to get one that Stanley couldn't get to, and it was a near miss at that. Rice got a double out of that, and then the key defensive play of the game. He runs down a ball, bangs up against the wall in the left center field, saves 2, and then keys the 9th inning rally with a triple.
Saw a little hit and run there. Gaunt's trying to protect the runner.
Gaunt's drafted 3 different occasions this year by the Cardinals. 0-2. Ray Tanner, big fan of JUCOs. Gaunt's out of the Florida JUCO program. All SEC last year. Tanner says, I like them because they've been humbled. They have a realistic sense of who they are. And they appreciate everything they get.
Well, they're kind of tried and tested academically, too. They come in, they've, for the most part, have graduated from junior colleges, have had to do things to show that academics is part of their priorities.
Runner not going on the pitch, missing away. Ball and 2 strikes. Both these runs unearned. Busher with an error in the bottom of the first, allowing the Georgia Tech 1-0 lead. Georgia Tech's error by Jason Perry at first allow the unearned run in the third. That sent it down to Dave Ryan.
Well, Trey Dyson is a designated hitter for South Carolina coming up next year for the Gamecocks, and he has been through quite a few pair of batting gloves this year. In fact, this year at the College World Series, he arrived with this one. He goes through, as he says, 7 or 8 pairs per year, and the Easton equipment rep was a little bit late getting his latest delivery in, so he had to go buy this one at the Walmart. And in the first game with Georgia Tech at the College World Series, you make it to the big stage, you hit with this batting glove with a little hole there.
That's just not right. It's got to be fixed, and it has been. The All-SEC designated hitter. Strike on the outside. Dyson flying to right his first time. Dyson will very seldom get cheated. big cuts almost every time. Busher down at first with one out. 4th strikeout by Burks in 3 1/3 innings.
See signals given out of the dugout there. Not even going through the third base coach. One less chance of having them messed up in the relay. Right into the dugout. All the base coaches are basically traffic cops.
You know, if they do get Clemson again, it would be their 5th meeting of the year. Tigers have won 3 of the first 4. So that's looming there if they can win this one. Runner going. Tyson sends one deep into the corner and right, and at the base of the wall, Busher being waved around by Jim Tillman, the third base coach, and then halted. The first signal was go. The second signal was right, because the cutoff from Slayton to Patterson was in plenty of time had Busher tried to score.
Well, good job there. You know, you keep him coming hard, make sure that relay get a fastball down in. This guy very easy without any wind could have 2 home runs today, Dave. Had the runner moving on the count, see him look in, find the baseball, sees it's going to be in there for a base hit, continues on. Now shuts him down. That's why you're teaching there is coach, base, coach. In other words, you look at the coach, touch the base, look at the coach again. A lot of guys will round third base with their head down and run through that late stop sign.
Definitely the right decision.
Yes, infield back here. Stay in the middle of the diamond here.
Who in scoring position for Powell, who heads toward the gap in right center field, and now Busher will come home. So will Dyson. No play at the plate. The Gamecocks up 3-1.
First pitch hitting here, trying to go away. He's looking out over there. Went out and hooked the baseball maybe a little bit off the plate. Think about where that pitch is and where he hit it. That's a strong young man.
Just one pitch after Busher was held at third. He and Dyson come home. 48 and 49 RBIs now for Powell. Melillo lays down a bunt. Play at second, and in time the throw from Parker to the shortstop Medical. Buck, what did Melillo do wrong on that bunt? Just didn't get quite far enough in front of the plate.
Well, they're trying to set up Drew Meyer here for an RBI situation with the bunt. You got to get that ball away from the catcher, obviously. Ideally in that situation, you bunt the ball to the first baseman. That's the guy that's not going to be able to make a play on the lead runner. Third baseman, pitcher, if they're feeling that ball pretty close to their position, they got a chance at the lead runner.
So Melillo at first. Ball 1 to Drew Myers. Struck out, reached on a fielder's choice.
It happens so much when you're practicing bunting. You know, you really try to catch the ball towards the end of the bat. That's where you can really deaden a bunt. So one time in hitting, you really don't want to catch it on the sweet part of the bat.
Runner going, the throw is low and not in time. Almost overslid, though, by Melillo. But he stays on the bag and has a stolen base.
Well, good throw here from catcher. Gets good footwork. Very close play at second. Good slide. Barely stays on that bag with his back foot. Good call.
Only the 4th stolen base of the year for Melillo, and that one's through the hole. Meyer may bring home another one. Up with it is Merton. Throw is cut off. 4-1 Carolina.
I know Drew Myers got to feel great about that, and you can see why they were trying to bunt him over. Stays inside this baseball, shoots it through the left side of the infield. Big 2-out RBI. Every tack-home run you can get in this situation.
His first run batted in of this College World Series. And Bobby Miranda, the Tech pitching coach, has come out as Jeff Watchko quickly gets loose in the Tech bullpen.
Like we were talking about earlier, Dave, this does not bode well with the background, the year that South Carolina's had offensively. You don't like to see them starting to get their confidence offensively, especially a guy like Drew Meyer driving in a run, because they can really throw some runs on the board there in a hurry against some good pitching.
As Watchko continues to work, Miranda moving Burks out to try and get Justin Harris, and he hasn't yet today. Gave him a double in the first, hit him in the third. Stolen base by Melillo. Looming big now because that got him into scoring position for the single by Meyer to make it 4-1 Carolina. Here's Harris.
I think you're going to see a stolen base attempt somewhere here in this at bat by Meyer.
Right now, in fact, and Parker can't pick it cleanly. So Meyer has his 38th stolen base.
Well, he doesn't have a play on him. We've got a breaking ball that's going to end up in the dirt. Down the way. Meyer got a pretty good jump there at first. He's probably going to have to eat that baseball as it is.
Georgia Tech had far and away the better running attack this year. They had more steals than Carolina had attempts. 130 steals for Tech. That is Rip hooking foul. Carolina has 2 steals this inning. That gives them 78 for the year, barely half the Tech total, but it's Carolina's running game that's helping them open up this 3-run lead in the 4th. And they have the starter Burks on the ropes. Meyer in scoring position for Harris with 2 outs. 3 already in. And a strike, 1-2.
Example of a hitter looking for a breaking ball. And a 1-1 count, got a fastball and took it. You could tell he was sitting on a breaking ball all the way there.
That's slapped on the left side for Matthew Boggs, and the throw bounces past Perry. Here comes Meyer. 5-1. Burke should have been out of the inning. Harris is down at second.
Well, mistake not only by the third baseman here, but by Eric Patterson. He's got to be backing this ball up as a second baseman. He's got nothing else to do on this play but to sprint behind the first baseman here. Probably would have been the difference in Drew Meyer scoring or not scoring. Instead, he's spectating the play in the middle of the diamond. There's a fundamental play that cost him a run.
Out of the 5 scored by the Gamecocks, now 2 unearned. So what a difference from Friday when they were shut out. They've scored 15 runs in 12 innings since then against Nebraska on Sunday, and in the first 3 2/3 in the rematch against the Yellow Jackets. They won't mess around with Peters. They'll put him aboard and pitch to Thomas. Peters walked and struck out his first 2 times. They'll put him on first. Harris down at second. Gamecocks bat around here in the 4th. And now up to Thomas to keep this Carolina uprising going. Hit it in the air twice. Up to second. His first time, last time up, fly to center. But it won't be Burks pitching to Thomas. As Miranda comes out and waves Jeff Watchko in. So Brian Burks will depart trailing 5-1 in the top of the 4th. We'll see Watchko when we come back to Omaha. Brian Burks' day is over. He leaves trailing 5-1, and his defense didn't help him nearly as much as it could today.
Well, this is a play we're talking about. Watch where Drew Meyer is here when he releases this baseball. Got it. Eric Patterson's got to be going over to first base here. He should be able to get to this ball when Drew Meyer's about a 4th way around third base and should be able to hold him here. That's a young player's fundamental mistake. This is a quality player. It's going to be a good player for Georgia Tech for a long time. And I'm sure someone's going to help him with that play because you got nothing else to do on that play but back up first base. And they do that at almost every level.
So Jeff Watchko, first out of the pen today for Georgia Tech, and what he inherits is a 5-1 deficit and 2 runners on for the 9th hitter in the inning, the right fielder Steve Thomas. Peters intentionally walked. Harris, who reached on that error by Boggs, down at second with 2 outs. One and one. Watchko, mostly in the upper 80s on his fastball, curve and change. And all year has thrived on tough situations. He comes in early in a tough one today, just trying to keep Tech within shouting distance of Carolina. Breaking ball, strike, 1-2. Watchko originally was the #2 starter. They moved him into the bullpen and has spent much of the year in the closer role, although not just in the 9th inning.
I think Brian Burke, so often happens, young players don't necessarily walk a lot of people, but they're wild in the strike zone. We saw a number of pitches where he's trying to go in, the ball ends up away even for a striker, trying to go away, and the ball runs back on the inner half of the plate. And I know one guy was happy to see the change with Tyler Parker because he was really struggling catching Brian Burks.
Check down at second of Harris. And to the plate at 1-2, and Parker has to make another stop in the dirt. Will he be glad when this inning's over?
Yeah. Well, Georgia Tech's going to need something good to happen to him. They could start right here by getting out of this inning. Doubt starts creeping in there. Guys start thinking about, is this going to be our last 6 innings of baseball this year? Doesn't look too good right now. We know how things change very quickly in the game of college baseball.
And he stays to see one more pitch. 2 hits against Nebraska. Thomas comes up with one here. They have a chance to really break it open. Most of the College World Series in 2002 has featured close games. In many years, you think 5-1 to the 4th, anything but safe. That's not really been the case this year. Many more well-pitched games than we've seen in recent years. And with the exception of the 11-0 game these two played, we've seen mostly 1- and 2-run games. In fact, that's the only game of this series that has been decided by more than 2 runs. Anderson dancing behind second. Harris staying put. And Thomas glares out at Watchko. And Nick Zabelli, the home plate umpire, tries to calm Thomas down.
Well, Mr. Watchko, I don't think particularly liked him calling timeout. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I don't think he really saw the timeout called by the umpire, but until he got to a release point. I tell you what, it got his attention where it hit him. How would you describe where this hit him, David?
That is where Sean Estes was trying to hit Roger Clemens Saturday.
It's also where most players have the most padding.
Watchko finishes off that battle and keeps it 5-1. But the Gamecocks get 4 in the top of the 4th. They're in control of this elimination game in Omaha. Rosenblatt Stadium, Omaha, Nebraska, 5-1 lead, headed to the bottom of the 4th. On a warm day, getting warmer in the mid-80s. 4 runs on 4 hits, a costly error in that Gamecock at bat. They chased Brian Burks after 3 2/3. Of the 5 runs, only 3 earned. Georgia Tech with 2 costly errors, but they get the heart of their order up against Aaron Rawl to try and answer back here in the bottom of the 4th, beginning with the right fielder, the #3 hitter, Jeremy Slade.
Well, Georgia Tech's not doing too good in their freebie column today, so far, let's put it that way. Between the walks, hit by pitch, errors, giving up some stolen bases, had some wild pitches, some pass balls, and they're still in it very early.
Out of play, 1 and 2. Danny Hall, the only coach here to have any kind of comfort zone at the end of the game. As we said, every game other than 11-0 in their opener decided by 1 or 2 runs. That's a base hit to get things started for Sladen here in the 4th. He is 2 for 2. And when we talk about the freebies, as Dave Ryan enumerated at the beginning of the game, really what you're talking about is how much help you're giving the opposition.
See how long his bat stayed in the strike zone. Jeremy Sladen there. A lot of guys bring their hands with their body, and that doesn't give him anything to hit with. There, he's able to keep his hands back even though he got out in front on a breaking ball.
Matt Merton plated the first and only run so far for Tech with a sacrifice fly to score Victor Menocal in the 1st. Strike 1 from Rawl. Danny Hall's formula includes walks received, hit by pitches, stolen bases, and errors. And so you add them up, get the differential, and you have a plus or minus freebies. And Georgia Tech is a -6 so far today and -4 on the scoreboard. Wild pitch, pass ball, helping the Gamecock effort as well. This could be a double play ball. A stretch not quite in time by Peters. So Merton in just ahead of the throw.
Give you an idea how well Merton runs here. Watch how quickly Drew Meyer starts this double play. Doesn't stay in his hands very long. Good firm throw to second baseman there. Close play at first base. Just beats the throw. Good firm double play feed. Second baseman loved that. Keeps him from getting a whole lot of pressure put on him by the base runner.
Jason Perry batting with 1 out. Merton down at first. He sends one to the gap, right center field, sinking in front of Thomas. And first and second with 1 out now, with Tyler Parker stepping in.
Wynn just knocked that ball down completely. And there's a play, if you can really make that key read, you should be able to go first or third on that ball with 1 out. A little tentative there.
I think that's the ground reading. Once you get it up in the jet stream here, it's a great deal higher than 8-10 miles an hour, as you can see vividly by that shot. That shot, the flags indicating how much you help yourself if you get under it a little bit.
I think Trey Dyson would agree with us. I think he's hit 2 balls already here today that would have been out of the ballpark with no wind.
Merton down at second, Perry at first after his single. And Parker goes after the first pitch. First time up, caught looking. The only strikeout so far for Rawl. It's been much more of a pitcher's College World Series this year. 8 teams combining to hit 287, scoring 12.4 runs per game. 18 home runs, a little more than half the total to this point last year, 33 after 8 games in 2001.
I think the walks are down too, Dave, because guys aren't afraid to challenge and be aggressive in the strike zone. You got an extra 10 feet out there. Makes a world of difference for these guys, mentally and physically.
Of the first 43 pitches Rawl has thrown, 30 have been strikes. So he's had his control. Hasn't walked anybody. And if not for the error in the first inning by Busher down at third, he's working on a shutout here in the bottom of the 4th. The Tech threatening, big cut and miss by Parker, and it's 1-2. This game going against another trend right now. 6 of the first 8 games have been won by the team scoring first, and the team that scored first today is trailing 4 runs, 5-1. Nebraska was the only team to score first and lose. They did that in both their games. Finished off by Carolina on Sunday. Ball's 1-2, lifted to right. Steve Thomas. Merton going and will make it easily down to third. So Parker gets it deep enough to advance Matt Merton 90 feet away now for Matthew Boggs. 3 games from the major leagues on Wednesday Baseball tomorrow on ESPN beginning at 2:15 Eastern time from Wrigley. A-Rod and the Rangers visiting former Rangers Sammy Sosa and the Cubs. Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Jiffy Lube has the Angels at the Cardinals at 7 Eastern and the Red Sox at the Padres 10 Eastern 7 Pacific. That one is on ESPN2 tomorrow. Different matchups at interleague play this year. Rangers first trip to Wrigley. Matthew Boggs singled his first time up. Up with runners on the corners and 2 outs. The second time he faces Rawl. And Buck Rawl has been as advertised, the freshman who acts like he's been in this situation his whole life.
Well, he's given them 3 2/3 good innings so far. Georgia Tech needs something good to happen. They need a 2-out emotional moral victory here. Just something to get them picked up. They seem not flat, but just seem that nothing really good happening to them the first few innings other than the first inning. South Carolina just trying to put up another 0 on that board and get in the dugout and try to tack on some runs.
Best pitch for Rawl all year has been the splitter. Able to get to the low 90s with his fastball. That one right at 90. 2-1.
That's impressive ball strike counts for a young freshman pitcher. Got a bright future here at South Carolina.
6-1 in 26 outings. Just one of them a start before today. Line to center. It'll fall in front of Harris, and that will bring home Merton. And it's 5-2.
That's a big 2-out knock, like we said, by senior Matthew Boggs. Georgia Tech picked them up a little bit. They come out of the dugout to greet and meet. Ball not hit particularly well. A little bit off the end of the bat. He's cheating on that ball in the inner half. Put it in a good place. Nice job of hitting there. That's a real pick-me-up for Georgia Tech.
Up to right in front of Harris. 43rd RBI of the year. Matthew Boggs now 2 for 2, and Wes Reinders, who ended the second with a double play, will try to keep the 4th going. Run on 3 hits so far for Georgia Tech. 368 hitting center fielder to be followed by the DH Remley if he keeps the inning alive. Doesn't look like it though. Pop up to the third base side. Called by Meyer, but Georgia Tech answers back with the run on 3 hits. Boggs the key hit, and it's 5-2 through 4.
I'm Tyler Parker, the catcher for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I'm going to give you a tour of Rosenblatt Stadium.
Nebraska curly fries, just for you.
Yummy. They call it Dippin' Dots ice cream of the future. Where I always eat Dippin' Dots, and your face is all wet, and you're trying picking up girls and talking to them. It don't work out too well, so it's pretty much kind of problematic. How do you get a job like this? You got to go to wood shop school or carpenter school?
No, you just got to know the right people.
How many of those things you cut a day?
About 400 to 500.
Look like you're fighting the tears back pretty good, but I don't know if you can hold out for long. Man.
The only time I cry is when he gives me my paycheck the end of the week.
And if you ask us what I'll say, cause Oscar Mayer has a way at B-O-L-G-A-R-Q. Sorry. How much? How much? That's brutal. $5. Come on, Dad, give me a break.
I don't know why we picked somebody so shy for that feature.
Wow. How much are they getting for the tickets out there?
Hey,
5,
one rate,
7?
whatever. Tyler Parker, outstanding job. Stay away from the karaoke. Cardinals locker room will be loose once he makes it up there. Busher, Gonson, Dyson in the 5th. 5-2 lead for Carolina. Busher single, scored one of the 4 Gamecock runs as they batted around in the 4th and chased Brian Burks. Jeff Watchko came in to strike out Steve Thomas to end it. Liner to center field, ranging over is Reinders. Chest high. First out of the 5th. Nobody's brought us a single snack up here, have we? Now, the night crew's always getting the chocolate malts. What do we get?
We got M&Ms today, which we have deposited.
Big M&M fan, but you can get those anywhere. I want some local Omaha delicacies, like the curly fries. And we'll leave plenty for Harold and his weight gain program.
I'll tell you what I was interested. You know, I was listening to. Well, they got a great organ here. Did you hear the organ before the game? I remember the first time I got to the Fenway Park in the big leagues, I was listening around, and one of the veteran coaches says, "You notice something different here? Like unlike any other park, all there was organ music. Not." Oh, David.
Boy, it took about 10 seconds, and here we come with Bloomin' Onion. Very nice. Okay, what else do you want? A steak medium rare?
You're the one that was talking. Got a cup of M&Ms here.
Come on, while we're hot.
No, oh, no, Dave, I couldn't. I just absolutely couldn't. As soon as we get off camera, you and I'll take care of this.
3 balls and a strike. Well, the organist has been here over 30 years. Lambert Bartak.
Well, just
outstanding.
Such a purity about that. I remember Fenway, all you could hear was the sound of the ball in the bat, pop of the glove for batting practice.
Yeah, they'll tear into those momentarily.
Oh, no, I couldn't, David. I just absolutely.
I know you can. Polish it off with some Dippin' Dots. Hopefully a little neater than Tyler Parker. Full count pitch. Batter leans in on that. It's ball 4. They will not give Gauntz the hit by pitch or charge it to Watchko. It's ball 4. He made no attempt to get out of the way. In fact, tried to get in the way.
I don't know about this call now. That's a ball.
He's leaning right in.
That's a ball. He's calling it a ball, but he's not calling it a hit by a pitch. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Which comes first? I mean, the ball's in the other batter's box, so he's, I don't know.
With Buck Showalter and Dave Ryan. Dave Barnett, Rosenblatt Stadium, record attendance throughout the 2002 College World Series. We've seen our 5 millionth fan at Omaha pass through the turnstiles this week. It's 5-2 Carolina with 4 runs in the top of the 4th. Gauntz aboard with 1 out for Trey Dyson, who had a key double in that inning. First time up, fly deep to right.
I think he swung the bat as well as anybody for South Carolina today. I'm trying to figure out. You got an 0-2 count, and the hitter's looking in. You're obviously not going to hit and run, and you're not going to take a pitch for a guy to steal seconds and look at strike 3.
Bounces in. Parker keeps it in front of him. And keeps Gauntz down at first. Parker not just a good tour guide.
He's had his work cut out for him today. A lot of balls in the dirt. The ball's not where he's putting his target at.
Dyson way out in front. Slow breaking ball, 2-2. Strike 3. Dyson, 1 behind on the scoreboard. And it was a 2-2 pitch, so Dyson's retired. That is the second strikeout by Watchko. 2 gone in the 5th. Landon Powell, the catcher, who had the key blow, the 4th, a 2-run single. Bounced to first his first time up.
Okay, we go back and rechart this game. The number of pitches Parker's had to block in the dirt today. It's almost 50-50 shot here.
with one pass ball. It was a wild pitch. Hit batter all in the third. Two balls and no strikes to Powell. Burks in the position now, just hoping Watchko can keep it close. That one chopped foul. Their decision on Baker, as you pointed out, to somebody that's used to a starter being able to go on 4 days rest would seem to be an easy call. Of course, they have to get through this game first. But college pitchers are used to a full week.
I found that surprising, talking about it this morning, that they were not sure if they were going to start Baker tomorrow. I thought they might even have the potential of starting him today on 3 days rest. They took him out after eight innings and kept him a little under 100 pitches, I believe. But, you know, college coaches get a lot of criticism from professional scouts and coaches about overuse of pitchers. Here's an example where kind of the other direction.
Watchko coming 2-2. And we'll have to do it again to Powell. Goodman, the number 2 starter, lasted in that 8-run Clemson second. Burks had a better ERA than Goodman, but he didn't last long at all. So after Baker's masterpiece in game 1, other starters for Georgia Tech have struck. Popped up just behind second. Making the call will be Patterson in short center. And after 4 in the 4th, Watchko shuts down the Gamecocks in the 5th. Georgia Tech trailing 5-2. Difference in the game right now, the 4-run 4th for Carolina. Keeblo, 2-run single by Landon Powell. Drew Meyer kept it going, poking one through for another RBI. And a throwing error by third baseman Matthew Boggs kept the inning going as well, as Meyer scored the 4th run of the inning. 5-1 at that point, 5-2 right now in Rosenblatt Stadium as we enter the bottom of the 5th. And the only 2 Georgia Tech errors they've committed in this College World Series have hurt. It'll be Remley, the DH, followed by the top of the order Patterson and Menecal. Elimination game. Second time these two have gotten together. South Carolina hoping to advance and take on their natural rivals, the Clemson Tigers. Notre Dame and Stanford will play tonight, with the winner moving on to take on Texas. The winners today have still got a very difficult task in front of them, because this winner's got to beat Clemson twice to get to the championship on Saturday, and tonight's winner's got to beat Texas twice.
Not an easy proposition. They'll take their chances, though, to keep this alive.
Remley rounded to third his first time up. Reaches down, that one just barely off the plate. Ranging to his left is Busher to get Remley by a step.
See the umpire going out here checking the baseball. Anytime you see a ball hit off the end of the bat like that, umpires don't even really need to check it, which he didn't. Usually when the ball comes off the end of the bat like that, you're going to have a ball that's either cut, as you see him throw the ball out. That's a guy that's been behind the plate a while. Now, a lot of pitchers will be very tentative about giving him back that ball if they don't ask for it. The guys who know how to handle it can make it do a few things.
Patterson has twice flied to left, and keeping him off the base paths has been a big help for Aaron Roll, because you got 41 steals to deal with, 50 tries if he does get on.
It's one thing to get a scuff ball. It's another thing to know what to do with it. Which way to hold it to make it go this way or that way. I've seen a lot of guys get a ball that's scuffed and not know what it's going to do.
Then you have the old masters, the Gaylord Perrys, Mike Scotts, who by reputation alone, even if they weren't throwing it, hitters always suspected them of making the ball do extra tricks. And so I would suppose just planting that idea is half the battle.
Oh, yeah, that's part of it. If they were guilty near as much as people thought they were, but I think mentally they played such games with hitters.
Patterson singles to center, so he is aboard for the first time with 1 out in the 5th. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Dave, back in high school, Georgia Tech shortstop Victor Menocal started following the career of Nomar Garciaparra, the former Georgia Tech star who at the time was in the minors en route to stardom with the Boston Red Sox. When Victor got to campus at Tech, Coach Danny Hall offered the number 5 that Garciaparra had worn. Victor said absolutely not. He wouldn't do it out of respect for Nomar. But Nomar a couple days later actually called the Menocal house and said, "It's okay, I give my full permission." Guys who wonder why the Garciaparra number 5 is not retired at Tech, it's because he didn't graduate, just played 3 years before going on to pro ball.
He actually said, "I'd be honored, Victor, if you wore my number 5.
That's a pretty good recruiting tool,
Yeah.
huh? Garciaparra calls you, says, "Please wear number 5. I'm coming to school, coach."
Jason Varitek's number is retired. He graduated. He left Georgia Tech having turned down a first-round draft selection to come back and play his senior year. So at the time they left, actually Varitek was held in a little higher esteem even than Garciaparra, who of course has gone on to be the better major leaguer.
It'll be interesting to see where Eric Patterson ends up when he gets to his junior year. He's a good-looking player. Reminds me a lot of Delino DeShields.
Chopper, just fair. Busher to start a double play. And just like that, a quick bottom of the 5th for the Yellow Jackets. Patterson single does no harm. It's still 5-2. Dippin' dots all around now. We move to the 6th, 5-2. Carolina, which with one error early on made you wonder if we were going to see the nation's top defensive team, but since then we have.
Watch Busher set his feet here. Low arm angle, gives a good ball for Melillo to handle here. Changes direction of the ball real quickly. That's a good turn of a double play.
And Melillo will lead things off in the 6th for the Gamecocks. Went aboard twice, reached on an error by Perry. And on a fielder's choice last time. Then stole second, came on to score 1 of their 4 runs in the 4th. Jeff Watchko in his 2nd full inning of relief. He hopes it's a full inning. He came on to get the last out of the 4th. And then worked through the 5th, allowing only a 1-out walk to Garris Gantz. 1-2. Danny Hall very wary of South Carolina, even though they shut him out on Friday. So this is a team that can explode anytime, and they have. He said our key, keep Drew Meyer off base today, and they've not been able to do it except for the first time they saw him. Line drive handled by Sladen, ranging to his left. 1 gone in the 6th.
Well, Watchko's job here is to try to keep this thing at bay, give his team a chance to get back in the ball game. He's certainly had a background as a closer for these guys. So he's going as long and as hard as he can go. Moved to the bullpen after being their number 2 starter, like you said, Dave, early in the season. Doesn't always come in only in the 9th inning like your typical closers. A lot of people miss. They call a closer a stopper. A stopper is a starting pitcher who stops a losing streak. A closer is a guy that finishes a baseball game. So don't get those two mixed up. Drew Meyer, they're trying a little bunt over the third baseman's head or firmly to the shortstop. A little different look at a bunt attempt.
Full swing that time, and it goes back almost as far as the bunt attempt. Meyer beat out a potential double play ball in the 3rd. Went to 3rd on a wild pitch. On the home on a pass ball, and then an RBI single. Stolen base, scored a run in the 4th. So he has done his job at the top of the order today. After an 0 for 4 on Friday against Tech.
They stayed away from him this whole series. Every club, left-handers, right-handers, haven't challenged him much on the inner half of the plate. Going away again.
Breaking ball rolled very slowly to Eric Patterson. 2 out.
Tell you what, you take one of the problems he's having, he's really going east and west. There's not a whole lot of north and south movement about him, something that is unusual. Watch his front hips and his shoulders. He's trying to bunt here firmly to the third baseman, firmly over the third baseman's head, or to the shortstop. Everything's away. See how flat his bat is there. He rolls over, ball out over the plate with a little sink on it. Sometimes you can want something too much, Dave.
So Meyer now 1 for 4. Harris 1 out of 2, a double. Hit by a pitch. Reached on an error by Boggs last time. 2 outs and the base is empty here in the 6th, and a 5-2 Carolina lead. Harris not involved in that game Friday, serving a 1-game suspension.
It looked like a little different club, Dave, with him in there. Tell you what, it really stretches out that batting order. And Coach Tanner had a tough decision to make. I thought he handled it very well.
High in the air to left field, not too deep. Merton will come on a few steps, and it's a 1-2-3-6. Watchko has retired all but one batter in his 2 1/3. Crowder's 1-2 is hit deep to right. Austin Davis back. It's gone. Notre Dame wins it on a Stavisky home run. I'm the man. I promise I can do it all. It feels so good to breathe the air back home in Omaha. Steve Stanley's and Brian Stavisky's dreams certainly came true yesterday, and that's why Notre Dame is in that game with Stanford tonight at 7 Eastern. Winner moves on to take on Texas, and the loser will follow Rice out of Omaha.
I still get chill bumps watching that highlight. That was a great moment yesterday. We got to be a part of. Wasn't too great for Rice. Boy, they really handled themselves well here. I was really impressed with Coach Graham and that club. Nobody loses here. These are the best of the best here. These 8 teams left standing. I think the NCAA does a great job with the College World Series. The only thing I don't agree with is that you can win a national championship with lose a national championship with only 1 loss.
And it has happened as soon as they've gone to that format with a single championship game. It happened, in fact, 1989 to a Texas team that made it undefeated into the last day and then beaten for their only loss in the series by Wichita State. It'll change next year, though, when the championship is a best 2 out of 3 for the 2 bracket winners. Aaron Rawls gone now 5 innings. Big key not walking anybody, and very economical with just 65 pitches. His longest outing of the year was his previous start, his only previous start against LSU, SEC tournament, 8 innings. 7 against North Carolina in a regional out of the bullpen, and 4 1/3 against Tennessee.
I've seen a real tendency for college coaches. They really go with a hot hand. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I mean, they really dwell on the hot hand because there's so much time in between games sometimes. You're not playing every day like you are in the major leagues.
Sladen pops this one up into short center, and coming on to make the call is Harris. Well, for a guy who's only started once in 27 appearances, you never know it the way Aaron Rawls has approached, and for most of the day has been pretty dominant. Defense, with the exception of 1 early error, has lived up to Gamecock standards.
Anytime you can get 4 outs on 2 pitches, you like your chances. That's one reason why his pitch count's down so much.
Matt Merton to right field, fairly deep, and now in front of the track it's Steve Thomas. So when you look at the ball strike comparison for Rawls, you're going to be impressed. 46-21.
Well, you're entering that area now. 10 outs left for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. That's where you start thinking as a coach, especially the guy with the lead. Now I've got to get 9 outs before they can score 3 runs. In this case, 10 outs before they can score 3 runs. Start trying to dissect down every out. See if you can get the job done. I tell you, Georgia Tech needs to get something going here pretty soon before they get into a situation where they're going to play. South Carolina's going to be able to play a pure matchup the rest of the way and get one out at a time.
John Magnuson, third base umpire, so Jason Perry held up 1-0. Ball and a strike now. Rawl has gotten out in front so often, he's only gone to 2 3-ball counts all day. Not messed around with these Tech hitters.
I'll tell you another thing. Talk about tempo of pitchers, and that's one thing I've been very impressed with here at College World Series, the tempo of pitchers and the way the pitching coaches and head coaches have really pushed being quick. But you don't see hardly any shake-offs of signs. Now, a lot of them come directly out of the dugout, and these young kids aren't going to shake off the head coach. But they get the sign and they throw the pitch. And you've got Landon Powell and Parker behind the plate for these two clubs, respectively. Not a whole lot of doubt in them putting down the right number. They get the baseball and they throw it. That's why you're seeing some good defensive plays behind them. Anybody that's set out in a 4-hour game with about 10 or 15 walks and a guy working slow, not going to see many web gems behind those type of guys.
Ray Tanner's philosophy, work fast, throw strikes. Rawl is doing exactly that today. Bullpen's been quiet, nursing a 5-2 lead so far through 5 2/3. And for just the 3rd time this afternoon, he goes to a 3-ball count. Right field, pretty deep. On the track, Thomas makes the catch.
That's 3, Dave.
On Friday, that ball's probably out. We have a different win today and a different result for Jason Perry. A 1-2-3-6 for Tech. Loser's bracket, so loser this game heads out. Winner goes on to take on Clemson. It's 5-2 Carolina at the moment. We move to the 7th. And boy, you just throw out a wish for a little snack, and all of a sudden we're going to move the bloomin' onion aside as Dave Ryan brings in the curly fries and the Omaha steak.
You got to have a bag that thing's so big to carry it in here, Dave. Wow. Oh, no, I couldn't, Dave.
Oh, go ahead. We can't have you working weak from hunger.
Exactly. It's only game 9.
Thank you. Tip, a little something for yourself.
See you later.
Hopefully you'll be back with dessert about another inning or so. All right, now
Dave.
we're set for 7, 8, and 9.
Dave, you got this inning. I'm eating.
Okay. Enjoy in the Carolina 7th. Peters, Thomas, and Busher.
Where's the cotton candy?
That's dessert. Our 9th inning request. Wallace things off. Ball and strike to Peters. 3, 4, and 5 hitters against Watchko. Go ahead. Don't be shy.
Oh, no, I couldn't, Dave. I'll tell you what, maybe
sure you could.
Salt and pepper here.
You could, and you have.
Oh, yes, I have. Obviously, I have at some point.
Man, I hate to move this aside to actually have to work.
You don't have to, do you?
Boy, the curly fries are just begging.
You can have a little, have some potatoes with that ketchup at some point. I now carry my ketchup on the road with me. I pack, you know.
Don't want to be caught short. On the track, another ball that on another day might have been gone, but it's just a long fly ball out to Jeremy Slee.
There's been 4 or 5 balls today with the old fence dimensions and with no wind. We're talking about 5 home runs today, I think.
Now up around 15, getting stronger by the inning. We haven't seen a right-handed hitter really take advantage today.
The pitchers have done a real good job of. Everybody thinks you get in a situation like this, you work away, and what you try to do is pound the ball in and keep those guys from diving out there and making a pitch that's normally off the plate, now in the middle of the plate.
0-1 pitch to Thomas. There's one deep to left. Back on the track, Merton. It is gone.
We almost had our first scoring umpire's decision there. I think that ball might have hit on top of the fence. David, you called it. A right-hand hitter, get a ball up in the air out in that jet stream.
Had to happen, and it finally did. And it is 6-2 Gamecocks.
Watch him stay inside this baseball. It's like a breaking ball. Starts, yeah, breaking ball over the plate. See if my eyes are failing me. If this ball, good extension on a ball up. See if I'm right here. This ball bounced on top of the wall. Yep. Think
on
so.
top and over, home run. If it goes through that railing and into the stands, that would have been a ground rule double. But this one clears literally by inches, and it's number 12 of the year for Steve Thomas, and Carolina back to a 4-run lead.
Those tack-on runs are so important, giving your pitching staff a margin for error. Let's take a look and see exactly where this ball hit.
Right on top.
I'll tell you, the umpires are very happy. They haven't had any major rulings here that have affected these games. We were a little concerned coming in that that might be a factor, especially with the way the fans can lean over.
3 feet to the left, and it would have been a factor. Thomas all smiles.
Jeez. That was another batter's ball. Sorry, Dave. I can't help it. It's just a manager in me.
Wachko has his 3rd strikeout. The Gamecocks back to a 4-run lead now with 2 outs in the 7th. What they're trying to do has happened only 9 times in 56 years of College World Series play. Lose your opening game, sweep straight through to a championship. Not impossible, but not at all common. Hasn't happened in 4 years since Southern Cal in 1998. The other USC trying to do it. And as we get into the later innings now, that home run giving them a 4-run pad the way Rawl is going. The fresh bullpen. All signs favoring Carolina right now. Gaunce, a walk, a strikeout, and a ground out. Thomas, the hero of the moment. That one started out of play, and the wind steers it right back in front of the tarp for Perry for out number 3. Home run by Steve Thomas in the 7th inning has Carolina all smiles. Well, it's not hard to see why any of those young men were their conference's players of the year.
Yeah, they certainly have represented themselves well here. Good-looking bunch of athletes, and real tribute to their schools and their coaches and their parents to get to this level. They've been a lot of fun to watch. They've been very entertaining.
So far, what they've done here in Omaha, everybody's made a contribution. Green has driven in 5 runs, has been spectacular in the field. Stanley was spectacular both ways yesterday. Key catch, saving 2 runs, triple that keyed the 9th inning rally. Morris homered twice while Nebraska was here. Peters sent them home with a 9th inning homer. Vincent Sinisi sent home yesterday by the late rally by the Irish. In the 8th inning for the Gamecocks, D.H. Dyson, who has doubled in 3 trips, and then Landon Powell and Kevin Melillo, bottom 3rd of the order. Wachko came on for the last out of the 4th, and the only hit he's allowed was the Steve Thomas home run in the 7th.
And he's actually pitched very well. One of the reasons why Georgia Tech still got some chances here. 6 outs remaining.
Wachko starts Dyson with a 3-0 count. And a 4-pitch walk. This Carolina team making up for lost time. 2 years ago, they were the #1 team in the nation. 56-10. They lost the Super Regional Final to Louisiana Lafayette, an enormous upset, 3-2. Last year, ranked 4th in the nation. Ray Tanner again saw a 3-2 loss in a regional final to Stanford. This year, it looked like it was going to happen again. They went into the Super Regional Final, 4-1 down to Miami in the top of the 9th, rallied to win that one 6-4, and make their first trip to Omaha since 1985.
Well, Coach Tanner here is trying to play for that 5th run where Grand Slam can't time. Like we said earlier, they certainly don't sacrifice bunt much unless they get real late in the game. They're looking for 1 run. Problem with that is you put some guys in positions to do things that they haven't been asked to do all year long. But, you know, you have enough practice time in college baseball with the off days to work on weaknesses. A lot of times in pro baseball, about the only thing you have time you have to do that is with early BP, or Coach Tanner's going to come out. He doesn't like the, well, first we're going to get a pinch runner at first base. He doesn't like the communication he's getting back and forth.
It's going to be Tim Seaton out to pinch run, and Dyson, who's doubled and walked today,
gives you
take off with a nice ovation.
That gives you an idea how important Coach Tanner thinks that 5th run, well, 7th run, but give him a 5-run lead would be. Taking out a pretty good hitter here in the 8th inning, try to push him across.
The Irish making their way into Rosenblatt Stadium. Yesterday down to their last 2 outs. Trailing Rice 3-2. 3-run rally. Kept them alive, and they're getting set to take on Stanford. No throw coming here. Seaton going immediately down to scoring position.
We got a hit and run on there. Coach Tanner would rather be lucky than good. Now he's asking to pull the baseball, try to get him over to third with 1 out. I thought when I first saw that it was a delay steal, but I'm pretty sure it was a hit and run because it was such a late break. The way Coach Tanner responded, it was a combination of a delay steal and a hit and run break.
Gets Seaton to scoring position. This is lofted, and the wind will blow it to left center right in front of the track for Wes Reinders. Seaton will come in easily, making third with 1 out. So Powell manages to do his job and move the runner over.
Well, you got a possible squeeze here. Be interesting to see what it goes on. Down in the order, young freshman second baseman Kevin Melillo. I'm sure pitching coach for Georgia Tech is going to remind them of this possibility. He's got a couple options down in the bullpen now.
Out comes Bobby Miranda. The squeeze plays we've seen attempted here haven't exactly worked the way they're drawn up.
Well, we had one that hitter thought it was a squeeze play with 2 outs. You've seen the more of a safety squeeze than a regular squeeze where you break pretty much dependent totally on the batter getting the bunt down.
Kyle Schmidt and Aaron Walker.
What I've seen, Dave, in the college game, it seems like the coaches in the college game are a lot more willing to think outside the box. They're not afraid to try something a little different, try to be a little more inventive, so to speak, and not afraid to make a mistake.
It makes for a more interesting game, don't you think?
It's one way to put it.
More unpredictable game, for sure.
Without a doubt.
Roles aren't so narrowly defined.
Well, what you try to watch here in a squeeze situation, you try to watch the hitter and see if there's a return sign. You see if he's got a different body language. You try to take a look at the runner's lead at third base, his body language. He'll try to get to his lead real early if there's a squeeze play on. You got the infield in here. One thing I do disagree with here, with the infield in, there's no reason for infielders to start on the grass. There's no way that these guys should be this close in. Regardless of your speed here, you can be at base depth here and still get anybody out to play it on a normal ground ball speed. So really, you're taking away about a half a step of range by being in that close.
On the Luis Gonzalez hit in the World Series, if the Yankee defense had been as deep as you're talking about, that might have been a makeable play.
I agree. But, you know, sometimes you get caught up in thinking that your depths have to be so close in there. They're going to see this baseball through more than likely.
That one will head to the bullpen foul, 1-2.
Got to keep in mind with Drew Meyer on deck, you as a coach at third base, you're not going to send him on a ground ball to the infield here. You're going to see that ball through because you don't want to take the bat out of Drew Meyer's hand. So there's no reason to have your depth that tight here.
The 1-2 pitch is called. Strike 3. 2 outs. And the 4th strikeout for Watchko.
That's almost a freshman era there. Same way mentally, you got to swing the bat in this situation, especially on something soft like that. You can't give up on that ball. Coming backdoor breaking ball, comes right in, catches the back half the plate, maybe. Big at bat right here for Georgia Tech.
They can get Meyer. They're still within 4. He has reached on a fielder's choice, an RBI single, and he's got another one just over a leaping Menocal. Seton is home. 5-run lead for the Gamecocks.
Well, that gives you an idea why he's thought of so highly. That's a clutch. You may say 6'2", 7'2", what's the big deal? That's a real pick-me-up for South Carolina and a real kick in the pants for Georgia Tech. They're 1 pitch from getting out of this inning. Stays out over the plate. With his swing, I've really been surprised the number of times he has struck out in this College World Series. He shouldn't strike out much with as flat a bat as he has.
And with that swing, it just looks like he picked out his target, took aim, and hit it. I mean, inches over Medical's glove, but aiming for what he saw was a decent hole to shoot for in left field, and he hit it, and it is 7-2.
He's going to run somewhere in this count here. There's the pitch out. They're thinking the same thing I am. What happens sometimes with the pitch out being called, a pitcher will be real quick to the plate and keep the runner from running. You know, what you want to be as a pitcher in a pitch out is be deliberate to start your leg so the runner will go, and then be very quick to the plate after the runner has made his decision to go to second.
A bluff.
He's trying to run. He's got a slide step there. Sometimes you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You may keep Drew Meyer from running, but the short delivery you're using is going to allow you not to have the normal stuff you have, and the hitter's going to be a lot more hitterish. That's a ball.
Not called. What did he do?
Well, you watch his front knee there. He buckles his front knee. The Dodgers for years and still do teach this in the minor leagues, where you buckle the front knee like you're going to the plate. Right here, you see the previous throw over there. I'll take a look at it after this pitch. That's a clean one there. He hadn't gotten all the way set. You cannot buckle this knee and go to first base. Watch his knee right here. There's a buckle, and back over here, that's a blatant balk.
Meyer going. Lofted deep left field. Goodbye. Harris has a 2-run shot. And Carolina now 9-2 in the 8th.
Those tack-on runs, that'll give you an idea. And the key hit for me in this inning is Drew Meyer's 2-out base hit. There's a hanging breaking ball trying to keep Drew Meyer close at first base. That's the difference between a breaking ball sometimes having that late bite and the one that hangs out over the plate. Ride to win right on out of here. Puts this game in real jeopardy of being a blowout.
I don't think that needed much wind behind it.
Well hit.
Harris's 5th of the year. 9-2 lead for the Gamecocks as they finally get to Watchko. Second home run he's allowed. The other was a solo shot by Thomas, who's on deck for Yaron Peters. Justin Harris, who started by having to sit and watch his team lose 11-0, serving 1-game suspension for disorderly conduct arrest after the Super Regional, has shown you exactly what Carolina missed. I mean, not that they wouldn't have lost, but they would have had a much better fighting chance had Harris been available. Ray Tanner got him back for the Nebraska game, and the top 2 in the order have been completely different since that first game. Meyer, 2 RBI singles today, has scored 3 runs. Harris has a double, a 2-run homer, and now Peters. It's been dealt with very carefully. Walked twice, once intentionally.
I think, Dave, what we see is, let's put it this way. I don't think any of us, you see the difference in the lineup now for South Carolina with Justin Harrison there. Does one player make that much difference? Well, yeah, he does, because it certainly stretches out a lot of areas of the batting order, puts a lot more emphasis on setting up things the way South Carolina's done them all year. And let's put it this way, you know, we've had other players in this tournament and in all areas of athletics have had some problems. I'd hate to have my life judged by the worst decision I made when I was 18 or 19 years old.
Called strike 3. Peters strikes out for the second time, but the Gamecocks add a huge 3 spot in the 8th.
Chicken tenders and fries, always good here at the College World Series. Things looking very good for South Carolina, 9-2 on Georgia Tech. Earlier today, we told you about the freebie number the Georgia Tech coaches track very closely. They hope to be a +5 in each game. Now, in their first game with South Carolina, a +4. Adding up all the categories: walks, errors, batters hit by a pitch, and stolen bases. But today, Georgia Tech has really had its troubles. There's Harris being hit by a pitch. Stolen bases have been a key for the USC attack as well. And when it comes on down to it, with an error there by Perry at first, big trouble. The number, as Boggs throws the ball away as well. A couple errors in the infield today for Georgia Tech. A -9 overall in the freebie number. Something, unfortunately, Coach Danny Hall will not like to look at when he and his assistant Bobby Miranda help come up with that freebie stat, guys. Look at it closely after this game.
No, that's ugly. That's a big ward on the afternoon, and now down to 6 outs, trailing by 7 runs. That's probably the first thing he'll look at. All the help they gave a Gamecock team that has shown they don't need much. We're all out for the 8th to face Medical, Sladen, and Merton.
I tell you, I can't say enough about the outing by Aaron Rawl today. He's been really impressive. I just jinxed him.
Medical line single to right to get things started for Tech in the 8th. Victor now 1 for 4. Scored the first Tech run, an unearned run back in the first after reaching on a Busher error at third. So he's aboard for Jeremy Slaton, who's 2 for 3. Pair of singles. Defensive changes at 3 spots for Carolina. Sladen lifting the first pitch toward the bullpen, and it is fair. You're kidding me. Fair. Home run. Home run, Sladen. It looked like there was no way the wind would allow that to stay fair. It just curled around the foul pole, and just like that, it's 9-4. 18th of the year for Sladen.
Talking about hitting it in the right spot at the right time. We got a real strong wind blowing out. That ball's down and away, probably a ball. Umpire, starting pitcher points up like it's a pop-up to the infield. Sneaks right inside the pole, doesn't even hit the pole, and clears with some ease, Dave.
Deep enough and barely fair enough. A matter of maybe 3 feet. Got it up so high that you thought the wind had to steer that one out. Just barely gets his 18th home run of the year. Now Merton is the first out.
I'll tell you what, guys, Drew Meyer does have a plus on. We were talking about that a while ago. But, you know, Major League scouts, take a look at him set his foot here on this ball and really come over the top with some giddy-up. Ball's really got some carry on it. They give grades from 2 to 8, with 5 being Major League average, 8 being what I call one of a kind. 5 is a very playable arm at the Major League level. In fact, most players at the Major League level have that 4 to 5 plus arm. I know you're getting ready to ask me what type of grade do I put on Drew Meyer.
Read my mind.
I'll give him a 6+, maybe a 7, because I don't give out 8s, Dave.
Justin Harris has moved from center field to second base, and he handles that well too. 2 gone.
And that's another thing about adding him to the lineup. Look at the flexibility it gives Coach Tanner to play center field at second base. Now he comes in. Very seldom you see a guy come in from the outfield, set his feet, and finish the play. As difficult it is to make that play, the key for me is being able to finish the play and get your feet in position to make an accurate throw. Impressive middle of the infield with Harris and Meyer.
Harris in second. John Koutlangas has replaced him in center, and Tim Seaton stays in the game in right.
We talked about how important those tack-on runs are now. You're looking at a 9-4 game without that 2-out base hit by Drew Meyer that opened up the gates a little bit. That's a well-hit ball.
Parker puts a charge in that one. Kutlangas back off the wall. That didn't miss being a home run by much. It's a double for Perry. And still a little bit of fight in the Yellow Jackets here in the 8th. How big of a 3 in the top of the inning now?
That's what you try to impress on your players to keep playing the game, because that run you cut off in the 2nd inning with a good relay throw, or that double play you turn to keep, when things don't look too good, it's pretty bleak there. All of a sudden things happen. You're looking at a 5-4, 6-4 game instead of a 9-4 game. Georgia Tech's swinging the bats now like they have.
Aaron Rawl now over the 100 pitch mark. Still hasn't walked anybody, but they have reached him for 11 base hits now. They have out-hit Carolina 11-8. Matthew Boggs 2 for 3 with an RBI, both singles.
Trying to figure out why South Carolina's playing the lines here in a 9-4 ball game. You're looking for outs, not worry about giving up doubles. First baseman, third baseman are both guarding the lines here.
Ball strike, 0-2.
One thing I'll say about the home plate umpire, he's been very consistent. There you see the lines being played by both corners. Really opens up some alleys for base hits to go through to score that run from second.
The 0-2, Boggs reaches out and stays alive. Well, Gary's Irish, so close to heading home on a very emotional day for him yesterday. His wife's Karen father being buried on the West Coast. She couldn't be here, and his thoughts were out there, but her thoughts were here with her husband and the Notre Dame baseball team.
Well, he told us yesterday there was a chance that Karen may get back for the game today, but that was another great moment for Notre Dame and the Maneri family to maybe give her an opportunity today to watch Notre Dame play.
Boggs chops it on the right side for Harris. Moves to second, makes 2 of the plays here in the 8th, but a 2-run home run by Sladen makes it 9-4. We're in the 9th inning. 9-4 Carolina, even though out hit. Aaron Rawl with 8 innings of work, no walks. Homers by Thomas and Harris. Sladen has homered for Tech on a 3-for-4 day. And in the 9th inning, 3rd Georgia Tech pitcher of the afternoon in relief of Jeff Watchko, we'll see right-hander Kyle Schmidt. Big freshman from Palm Harbor, Florida, can hit 92 with his fastball. Big game experience, lots of it, especially for a freshman. Would have been drafted out of high school, but broke his left arm in a car accident before his senior year, and so he came on to college. And he will face Thomas, Busher, and Gaunce in the 9th.
David, it's a small world. Last year, a good friend of mine had called me about possibly right. Kyle was really down about breaking his arm his senior year in high school. Was considered a guy that would go pretty high in the draft, and really kind of fell off the charts after that. And I wrote him a letter and hadn't really thought much else about it, telling him to hang in there. And he came up to me 4 or 5 days ago and told me how much he appreciated it. It was really a nice moment getting to see him back here, and he's going to resume his career and have some good things ahead of him.
First pitch pop up, John Kutlangas, who came in defensively, batting in the 4th spot for Thomas. 1 quick out of the 9th. Well, he's recovered.
Well, you can see why they liked him so much in high school before he broke his arm. Big, strong young man with a plus arm. You know, they talk about, just whether or not he's going to throw strikes. He can miss a bat, and that's something that's sometimes kind of rare at the college level.
Ball 1 to Busher. 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored.
Might end up being a blessing in disguise. Gets to get a great degree from a great university in Georgia Tech. There'll be plenty of time for professional baseball for Kyle.
Hits away from Parker, but it is a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Wachko had gone since the 4th inning. Got the last out of the 4th and now lifted for Schmidt here in the 9th. Did well till the 8th, and the Gamecocks got to him for 3. 2-run homer by Harris seemed to push it out of reach, but the way Tech approached the bottom of the 8th, never know. Came back with 2 to make it a 5-run game. 3-2 to Busher. Then the left fielder Gantz. Carolina hoping to advance and set up a grudge match with more riding on it than ever with Clemson. And Busher is aboard, and we're down below with Dave Ryan.
Aaron Raw, the freshman, Davis pitched so well. Mom Melissa is here. You told me a moment ago you're from Lexington, South Carolina, very close to Columbia, where the campus is. Everyone in the family is a Gamecock. This must have that much more significance for you to see him pitch so well.
Sure does. But it's real easy to pitch when you've got 8 great guys behind you.
That helps a lot. He pitched in the SEC tournament and pitched very well against LSU. How would the pressure for you watching that game compare to the big stage here at the College World Series?
It's a lot easier when you're ahead. A lot easier. I know that Blake Taylor's there for him if he gets tired in the night.
Now, you told me a minute ago you wouldn't leave this seat. Are you a very superstitious parent fan? Is that the story?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Not until the Gamecocks win. That's when she'll go down and congratulate her son, Dave.
All right, Garris Gantz at the plate. He falls behind 2-0. Well, she would follow the edicts that you used to put on everybody in the dugout. When things are going well, nobody moves. Nobody moves a muscle. Right?
Nobody changed seats. Same seats, fellas. Nobody moves. Give up a couple base hits. Everybody changed seats.
Aaron's grandfather, Otis, a member of the South Carolina baseball team. Aaron continuing the tradition in the family very proudly today. Just his 2nd start. Looked like he'd been a starter all year. Schmidt now trying to settle down from behind. 2-0. He gets another pop-up. And this will be handled by Patterson. 2 outs in the 9th. Tim Seaton will hit after coming on for Dyson to pinch run and staying in the game in right field.
Let's go, Bomber! The difference in South Carolina today over the first time they played Georgia Tech, you know, the confidence they gained from having that offensive explosion. The other thing I think is getting their second baseman center fielder back, Justin Harris. Just made this whole thing go a little bit. You could tell it's taking a little pressure off Drew Meyer too. He knows how to hit in that second hole behind Meyer and take some pitches for him to run.
Meyer and Harris have driven in 4 of the Carolina runs today. 2 singles, 2 driven in by Meyer, 2-run homer by Harris in the 8th. 1 for 8 without Harris in the lineup Friday. Two outs in the 9th. Busher aboard after a walk. 1-2 to Seaton. Called strike 3, backdoored him. And Georgia Tech will have one more shot at staying alive in Omaha.
ESPN's presentation of the NCAA College World Series is brought to you by United Online. Internet service for half the price of AOL. Call 1-877-ONLY-995.
Last hope for Georgia Tech here in the 9th. Trailing 9-4 to Carolina. Tech's bats have been quieted today after 32 hits in the first 2 games. Only managing 8 today against Aaron Rawl, who will be given a chance at a complete game. They've had only 3 complete games for their entire staff this year. One by Blake Taylor, their closer. A 156 pitch effort in the NCAA. Steve Bondurant had 1. Gary Bell had 1. Oh, nice artwork there. Outstanding. And now Aaron Rawl gets a chance facing number 8 hitter Wes Reinders, who's 1 for 3. to lead off the Tech night.
Well, I'm sure Aaron will be on a very short leash, especially with Blake Taylor as an option down there. Keep in mind, Blake Taylor did start a game here very short period of time ago. He'd like to be able to stay away from him if he can and try to keep him as fresh as possible for Clemson tomorrow.
First pitch to Reinders, line for a base hit. And you may be right. Taylor throwing with purpose down there now in the bullpen. Leadoff single by Reinders. And now a pinch hitter, Brandon Boggs. Mom wondering how much more she'll see.
Well, you're getting around now. You're going to have the top of the order here after Boggs hits.
Boggs, another Tech freshman from Marietta, their lone switch hitter. Pretty equal from either side.
I think Aaron's got to get Boggs out in order to stay in this ball game.
Great futures, not homered this year, but lots of line drive power for Brandon Boggs. And he bats with Reinders at first. Just trying to keep it going any way he can and get to Eric Patterson at the top of the order.
Well, this is a young man who's going to play a lot of baseball at Georgia Tech over the next 2 years at least. A lot of tools, switch hitter. Getting better hitting left-handed every day.
302 hitters, driven in 35. Even without a home run. That one bounces past Powell, and on to second is Reinders.
And Rawl very quickly headed toward the end of his rope. See if he's got enough in him to finish this game.
Wild pitch. He was at 105 pitches when this inning started. 1-1 to Boggs is wide. We can understand with a 5-run lead why Ray Tanner would want to at least give him the chance.
Well, there's not much margin for error. You don't want to. He certainly has scattered the hits around today.
That's going to find the hole on the right side. Reinders will be held at third as Seaton gets it in quickly. First and third, no outs to start the Tech last gasp 9th inning.
That's what I can't understand. I spoke about it last inning. Why are you playing the lines here in a 9-4 game? First baseman, third baseman, if they're in their normal position, you've got a chance to make that play over in the hole. I mean, the only run you're worried about is the guy who comes up the plate as a tying run.
Well, they're a ways away from the tying run, but they have the makings, at least, getting that man up. First will be Eric Patterson, who has singled in 4 trips.
Well, Georgia Tech's going to have the right people up. They got a chance to get back into this. They need 5 here in the 9th.
Patterson today has tried to go the opposite way. Twice flying to left. Last time he pulled it on the ground and bounced out to Peters at first. Shot up the middle. High hop handled by Meyer. Takes it at second. Gets the speedy Patterson at first for the double play as Reinders scores. But the important thing is he hit it to Meyer, and they're down to their last out.
About that, it's about the only way you're going to double up Eric Peterson. I've talked many times about infielders having a good clock. Ball hits off the side of the mound, comes back to Drew Meyer. Knowing with that plus arm he's got, all he's got to do is the heck with the transfer to the second baseman. Just take it himself. He knows he can set his feet and make a firm throw to first base to nip Patterson.
Aaron Rawl with 2 outs now in the 9th. Starts Victor Menikow with a strike.
You see what Coach Chandler's trying to do here. He's trying to stay away from Kyle if he can.
That's grounded up the middle for a base hit, and Tech refuses to die.
Trying to stay away from Blake Taylor if he can. Try to keep him as fresh as possible. Because he knows if he can get this W under his belt, he wants as fresh a bullpen and a pitching staff. Good hitting Clemson team tomorrow.
Good fielding Carolina team has turned 3 double plays today. Double plays, absence of walks as big as anything in this 9-5 game. Here's Sladen, last time up, a 2-run homer following a Menikow single. Chopper foul. He also has singled twice.
That's one thing I never did, David, as a base coach. I never tried to field a ground ball. You know how many errors I made coaching third base? None. You don't try to attempt to catch them, you never make an error.
Manny Hall lands down to his last out. Aaron Rawl. See Slayton rip that one way foul, and it is 0-2, and Tech down now to its last strike. 3 hits here in the inning, and Jerry Myers is going to come out just to be absolutely sure everybody's straight. Well, we're close to a Carolina-Clemson rematch. They've played 4 times already this year, and Clemson won 3. But in this setting, a whole different matter. National championship hopes would be at stake. That is assuming Carolina can nail down this last out. Rawl has thrown 116 pitches, only 31 balls. Amazing control for a guy making his second college start. 0-2 to Slayton in the dirt.
I really like Slayton as a hitter. He's a real quiet hitter, lets the ball travel, get deep in the box, doesn't commit his hands a lot. He's going to be a good player for Georgia Tech for at least 2 more years.
Swung on and missed. And Carolina has eliminated Georgia Tech. We'll have Carolina-Clemson as the Gamecocks stay alive in Omaha in the 2002 College World Series. What an outing by the freshman in just his second start. Aaron Rawl, a complete game, 9-5 win.
The last pitch here, changeup. Great command of the strike zone the whole day. He was able to span the strike zone. You think he's excited? Great composure.
Oh, was Mom sweating out that last pitch. And the tears of joy flowing freely now. 9-5 win for Carolina. And Georgia Tech, after its 11-0 win in the first game of this College World Series over the Gamecocks, sent home by that same Carolina team, which has lived to fight another day here in Omaha. We'll be back for more in a moment. South Carolina eliminates Georgia Tech 9-5. Aaron Rawl improves to 7-1. And his year not over yet. Carolina still in this 2002 College World Series. Coming up tonight, don't forget, an elimination contest between Stanford and Notre Dame. A rematch of the Stanford victory on Saturday. 7 Eastern tonight, ESPN2. Mike Patrick and Harold Reynolds will have it. The winner there has Texas waiting. And Clemson now will take on South Carolina at 7 Eastern on ESPN2 tomorrow. Georgia Tech joining Nebraska, and Rice eliminated from Omaha. After winning their opener, they fall twice. And Dave Ryan is with some happy Gamecocks.
They are indeed. Justin Harris is here along with Drew Meyer, and a tremendous game as well from Aaron Rawl. Aaron, let's start with you and the way you were able to keep your composure as a freshman. You pitched in some big games. Your mom, Melissa, told us a few minutes ago in the SEC tournament against LSU, but this is a much bigger stage. How did you maintain your composure today?
I just picture it as a regular game. We've had a great season so far. Just go out there. They had good bats. And I didn't strike out a lot of people. Defense made great plays behind me. They just kept us in the game.
You had a very high pitch count today. You were able to maintain, in a pretty hot day, some pretty good pitch location and velocity. Were you worried at all you might get tired?
I was slowing down there a good bit at the end. We do a lot of running during the year, keep us in good shape, but make pitches, it's all in location. Just make pitches that they have to hit at a player, and the defense made plays today.
Congratulations. All right, Mr. Meyer, tremendous game from you as well. Able to get the bat going after a little struggle in game one. How were you able to keep yourself relaxed after not getting a lot of base knocks in the first game and your average was slipping a bit?
Yeah, I think just not putting too much pressure on myself. A lot of people were criticizing me and saying I was doing a lot of things wrong, and I try to stick to my game plan and try to go backside, put the balls in play, and use my speed to my advantage.
Now you got to play Clemson again. As Dave Barnett mentioned a minute ago, you played them 4 times this year. You lost 3 times. How heated a rivalry is this, and what can we look forward to tomorrow?
it's a big rivalry, and this is what we came here to do. You know, we knew there's a good chance we'd be facing them, and it's time to get some revenge. They beat us 3-4, like you said, so hopefully we can get some wins for us.
Drew, thanks a lot.
Also, I'd like to say hi to everybody back in Charleston and Christy in Villanova.
All right, good enough. Justin, you didn't play the first game because of the suspension. Able to come back and play very well in the next two with a home run and getting yourself on base a lot today. How hard was it to sit out that first game, and were your teammates supportive?
Yeah, my team's been behind me. The whole school's been behind me. All the fans have been great. Everybody's been helpful and supportive. It hurt to be sitting in the stands, you know, watching my team play. I've played and started in 69 of these games. The first one I haven't, and I just hurt for them. You know, I want to be out there and be a part of it, whether we lost or whether we won. But I'm just happy to be back here right now and contributing to the team. You know, couldn't ask for a better feeling coming back and winning these next two and getting to play Clemson, and we'll see what happens from there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Day of the game. Go ahead. Go fast.
I'm going to say hello to my friends in Orlando, FSU, Katie and her family, and Bradenton. I love you guys, and take care. God bless.
And they'll all be watching Dave. Clemson against South Carolina, next game coming up.
All right, Dave, no shout-outs from you? I guess not.
I got one, Dave. No.
All right. We'll be back for one more final word from Rosenblatt Stadium after a 9-5 Carolina win.
The Stanley Cup is back in Hockeytown. Celebrate the Detroit Red Wings Stanley Cup Championship with Sports Illustrated's 2002 Stanley Cup Ice Pack, free with your paid subscription. Relive all the moments that made the 2002 playoffs unforgettable with the official NHL 2002 Stanley Cup Championship video, available on DVD or VHS. Call now and you'll also get Sports Illustrated's hardbound, gold-lettered, individually numbered Stanley Cup commemorative. Your Ice Pack is free when you order 55 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.59 an issue. Save more than 50% off the cover price. When you use your credit card, you'll get this exclusive 2002 Stanley Cup Champions commemorative puck, available only from Sports Illustrated, free. Check out the 2002 Stanley Cup Ice Pack. 3 great gifts from Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Crowder's 1-2 is hit deep to right. Austin Davis back. It's gone. Notre Dame wins it on a Stavisky home run. I'm the man. I promise I can do it all. It feels so good to breathe the air back home in Omaha. Well, it didn't come down to the last pitch today. Aaron Rawls made sure of that with a complete game victory, scattering 14 hits, striking out only 2. But he wasn't overpowering. He didn't need to be, because he didn't add to his own workload by walking people, going deep into the counts. He just came after people, kept the ball in play, and that was plenty.
I think without a doubt that 0 on the walk column was the key to the game for South Carolina. And I think this is a team that's lost the first game 11-0. Very quickly, you know, they're a game away from really being in pretty good shape. And well, I think an unsung hero day, Landon Powell, working with the freshman pitcher day, really got him through. And that's the epitome of scattering hits.
Now we'll see if Carolina Clemson really lives up to the hype that these baseball players are claiming it deserves. Even more intense than Clemson Carolina football, if that's possible.
Well, believe me, there'll be a lot of emotions flowing around here. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Carolina fighting back, as they said they were capable of after the 11-0 shutout defeat at the hands of Georgia Tech. They win handily today, 9-5, and they send the Yellow Jackets back home to Atlanta. Coming up, we've got Notre Dame Stanford again, 7 Eastern. Mike Patrick and Harold Reynolds will have that one on ESPN2. So 9-5 win for the Gamecocks. For Dave Ryan and Buck Showalter, Dave Barnett, so long from Rosenblatt Stadium here in Omaha, the College World Series. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Unscripted is up next. Carolina wins it 9-5.